Hey everybody, welcome back. Today we're going to take you out and show you a project we're working on behind the house. We're putting in our summer soil builder green manure plow down strip in our 3-strip system out in the food plot behind the house. Now what we're doing is we're going to work up about an inch deep the ground where brassica was last year, not much coming back. There's some rye coming back on the northern half of the strip. But what we're going to do is lightly incorporate that so we can create a seed bed for our soil builder blend. You know, we want it about that deep so we can get the seeds covered. Size of seed is the depth of the seed. That's something we always talk about. So we're going to scratch up the ground. We're going to broadcast with the earthway bag seeder our soil builder blend. We're going to harrow drag that in, pack it with a lawn roller, and then broadcast our crimson clover seed. So we're creating organic matter. We're putting organic nitrogen in the ground. We're breaking up that brassica cycle, and we're going to create a great environment to plant our fall forage radishes and red clover combination in mid-August this year. So there is a food component in there. You know, we from time to time we'll spill a bag or something, so we threw a little bit of extra buckwheat in here. Maybe some peas or something like that for food component, and then again the crimson clover is also going to feed the deer. But the thing is, when we go out there, we're going to show you we still have food in this food plot because we're only working on 1/3 of this food plot. We still have the red clover strip to the west, and then to the east closest to the pond we have our clover blend plus chicory, and there's deer in there every night. So come on along, we're going to start on our 2024 food plots today. Hey, not so fast. Folks, before we go outside, I just want to remind you we've got our new podcast, Field of Greens podcast, presented by Northwoods Whitetails. It's on Spotify, it's on Apple Podcasts, and all platforms that you can get podcasts on. Field of Greens podcast from Northwoods Whitetails. So today we're going to do some tilling. We've got our 6-foot tiller behind our tractor. We're going to till under all this residue from the HD screen. We're actually going to move the screen over here. We had 2 years of clover. There's a little bit of grass growing in here. We're going to put the screen over here this year. We're going to till that screen, and then we're going to till under. This is what's left of the brassicas from last year, our 3-strip system. We've got clover and chicory really taking off here. We've got rye and red clover taking off here. Deer are in here every single night. The rye's thicker up above the hill a little bit. You can see we did a lot of rye. This brassica over there, we'll walk up there. What we're doing is tilling in. It just looks like some grass, and you know, the thing about this is this brassica was picked clean. There was nothing left. And we're just gonna go about a 1/2 inch deep. All we're gonna do is prep this for our soil builder. Not spraying it, I'm not doing anything, just a little bit of tillage. One pass with our tiller. We're gonna spread our soil builder seed, drag it in to cover it, and then we're going to pack it, add crimson clover, and then spray it with our liquid fertilizers from Brad Harper. Now you can see we did a little bit of clover in with this rye because this part of the brassica, this was a brand new food plot. The soil isn't as good as what we're standing in. So we poured a lot of red clover and rye to it because the brassicas, they were shorter, but because this part of the plot is hidden, it was hit a lot harder. We had a picture, we had a mock scrape right here, vine. We had a camera right in this tree, and there was deer 4 or 5 hours before dark hanging out back here because the screen here was hiding them. You know, there's our garden here, and then there's a big bedding area right here. They'd come along this brush wall here from this woods over here, and they'd all hang out in here, bed right down here in the shade. But this side of the food plot got hammered a lot, so we added a lot of rye and a lot of clover, and that's what we're tilling under today. And then we're gonna plant our soil builder blend on this middle strip. We're gonna mow that rye, and that red clover is gonna explode. You can see how heavy the red clover is coming back. This last year was our fall forage radishes, red clover combination. This was brassicas, but because there was so much pressure, we had to add some rye and clover to it. There's a little bit of crimson coming back up on the top because we had a real mild winter. And then of course down here along the woods, we've got a clover blend plus chicory growing down there. So this is what we're tilling under, and we're gonna plant right away. We might get a few weeds to come back. I'm not really worried about that. But the thing that I want folks to understand, and it's not that I'm against no-till. I'm not spraying anything. I'm not killing anything. All we're gonna do is till, one pass lightly, and seed. And if we get a little bit of weeds that come back, I know there's a little bit of grass down in here, and I'm not quite sure what that is. It almost looks like a quack grass. I'm not worried about it. You know, we got great production out of this field. But you know, people talk about food plotting without using chemicals. That's what we do here. We don't need chemicals on this particular system. And we're gonna turn this green manure, this is gonna be green manure, and that's what I'm very, we emphasize that a lot. If you're gonna do some tilling, make sure you're putting something back into the ground. You know, I don't really see any seed heads on these grasses, or a little bit right there. But we're gonna put this green manure back into the ground. That's mostly cereal rye and red clover over there. Plant our soil builder blend for the summer. All right, this is all tilled in. We've got our screen tilled in. We're gonna replant that next month. And down below it's a little soft yet, so I'm gonna let this dry out for a couple of days. We actually got to get going to a track meet, so I don't have time to plant today, but I would probably let it dry out anyway. But you can see we put most of that green material right back into the ground already. We're only about 3/4 of an inch depth on the tiller. It's not very deep, so the rye, some of it's on top of the ground, a lot of it's back under the ground. But what we're gonna do now is 48 to 72 hours, we'll come put our soil builder in here, pack that in, and then we're gonna put crimson clover on top of it for another nitrogen source, and that's gonna grow all summer. And we will use our fall forage radishes and red clover on this strip right here. We still have our clover chicory growing right here. It looks like I'm gonna have to get in here with a little grass killer. It's been mowed once and it's responding really well. And up here, where we had fall forage radishes and red clover last year, the red clover's coming back, the rye's coming back. We have to mow the rye. You can see a little bit of crimson. You know, we break so many bags every year, we just put it in a bucket, and that's what our food plots are. But we're gonna mow this, give it some liquid nitrogen, or I'm sorry, liquid fertilizer from Brad Harper, Harper Growing Solutions. And you can see this is really nice. Not as thick as I'd like it, but we see there's a bunch of little clover down in here yet. So, and I can see browse pressure. There's deer in here every night, we can see them. But one of the things with this 3-strip system I really, really like, you're never taking all the food off the table. So we're working on this strip now. Deer are still in this strip and that strip. And then when we do both these strips in the fall, there'll be instant food here because the oats come out of the ground so fast and they grow so quickly. I've seen deer, from the time we planted to deer eating them, I've seen 7 days. And so you're really not taking 100% of the food off the table. It's not going to be a clean slate. This will be here until probably late July. I'm not quite sure when we're going to do this. It's just a timing thing, and that's one of the reasons why I just had time today to get this done. But this is going to be planted soon. We'll fire the camera back up when we plant this, show you what we're up to, and love this planting system. One of the things I did notice, we started on this part of the food plot because we just bought this piece of property. We only had up to that tree a couple years ago. Well, now we own this part, and this is the second year we food plotted this. This used to be clay. It probably still is, but we're getting some really nice dark looking dirt. You know, they talk about chunky. I don't know, this is pretty chunky yet, but I don't know. I just know that this is a great system. You know, we did a soil test down there and we had really good organic matter, and we're going to try to turn this as fast as we can into some really healthy soil. You know, I know there's a lot of people just pulling their hair out and frowning at what we're doing here, but it works. It just does. You know, we're green manure. I'm a firm believer of, if you're going to use a tiller, you got to put something back into the ground. And I've learned that from old-time farmers and some of my food plot mentors, and this is what they do, and this is what we're going to do on this piece of property. I can't do this on a lot of our properties that we manage because of rocks and clay and just, you know, access with equipment and stuff. But right here, we've done this on that end of the food plot for years, and it works outstanding. So we'll fire the camera back up when we start to plant, but this is putting green manure plow downs back into the ground. Okay, it's June 4th, planting day here, and what we're going to do is plant soil builder here. This is where the screen was for about 3 years, and now we're going to put it back over here. So we're going to put some soil builder here, and then this strip right here was brassicas last year, and we got a little bit of a quackgrass problem here, so I actually tilled it, let it come back, and I just hit it the other day, killed it again. So now we're going to put the big seed down, lightly drag and disc to cover it, pack it, and then put some crimson clover down. And this is going to be our soil builder. This is all red clover coming back last year. I mowed it the other day. And then this is our clover blend plus chicory. A little bit heavier on the clover up top here, but I mowed that the other day too. It's coming real nice. So that's what we're doing today. Green manure plow downs, and we're building soil. We are creating more organic matter, and we're actually planting another green plow down. All right, so we got the seed down, a little bit of fertilizer. We're gonna hit it with some liquid fertilizer from Brad Harper in a week or two. But you can see it's all the seeds buried. I don't see anything at all. It's some stalks here that we dragged over from the screen. A couple of rocks left to pull out of here. But what we're gonna do now is the ground, it's pretty firm. So I don't need to pack it and then seed the crimson and then pack it again. What we're gonna do is just seed crimson clover here right now as another nitrogen source, deer food, instant deer food. And then we're just gonna roll it once. So I got a wet spot right there that we had to go around. It's kind of a weird deal with this food plot. Right down here we used to have it almost looked like a spring bubbling out of the ground off this pasture. And we haven't seen this for a while. Now we had all this rain, and now it's consistently wet right here, and I'm starting to wonder if that spring's popping up somewhere else. I have to keep an eye on that. But anyway, there's one seed right here, a little pea that didn't get buried. But it's done a pretty good job, and all we're gonna do is roll it in. So I don't like to just throw the seed out there, even though this was tilled ground. It was soft. I don't like burying it with the lawn roller. I just like to get the seed covered. And then we're gonna roll it in right after that. And we are using steel lawn roller. I like those much better than a cultipacker. I think they're more consistent, especially with these little tiny seeds. You know, we want to have a deep groove here and then shallow, and then deep and shallow. The only way I'd use a cultipacker here would be one of those multi-wheel if it was really rocky, where one of our leases up north is really rocky, so we'll use the old style cultipacker up there, but I'm just using the lawn roller here. So gonna be great soil builder, summer food, and a great green manure plow down this fall for our fall forage blend. All done. We're looking south. That's where our HT screen usually is. And seeds in, clover seeds in, about probably 98 to 99% covered. Everything's in the ground. And like I said, I really like a lawn roller for this clover seed. It's so consistent. You can see there's no lines, there's no, just the ATV tracks. I just like with this little seed how consistent it is, because you have 100% contact with the piece of equipment the whole time. Again, if it was rocky ground, I would probably go to one of those cultipackers that's got the multi wheels on it. But so one of the questions we get asked a lot is something new like this, is how do I keep the turkeys out? And I've got a different problem here. I don't have a turkey problem, I have a pigeon problem. So you can see, maybe let's see if I can focus on it. There's a silo, an old silo right there. Used to be a farm there. And it's loaded with pigeons. And I no sooner start planting and they're down here eating as fast as I can. So I got an owl decoy right there, but this is what I found works much better. And if I had a turkey problem, this is what I'd be using right here. Coyote decoy. I've got 4 of them for this food plot, and I'm going to put all 4 of them out. I'll take an old jacket, make a scarecrow. I think 1 or 2 coyote decoys would keep turkeys out, but these pigeons are relentless. I've seen them, when I tried to do the rye overseed, they'll be right behind me eating. I could be standing over there seeding, and they're over here shoving down all my seed. So we use a coyote decoy, and I'll put probably 4 of them here with a couple of my old jackets, an old Carhartt or something on a steel cross just to keep the pigeons out. Now, I've actually laughed about this because I've seen these things, the deer walk right up to them. They don't bother them. They must understand that they're not real. So there'll be deer in here eating tonight, but this is what I use and I recommend to people. I think this is a Flambeau decoy, 35-40 bucks. This will do a great job for keeping turkeys out of your food plot while your seed. Once this seed germinates and it's all green, and I can't, the deer won't, the birds won't bother it, I'll take them down. But that's our spring planting here behind the house on our 3-strip system. This is all soil builder. Can't wait. We're supposed to get rain in the next 48 hours, so this should be popping within 8 to 10 days. So you keep watching the place, okay? We don't want any pigeons back here. So it's 9 days after planting our summer soil builder, and I just wanted to show the results. I can see all the clovers germinated. There's buckwheat. I know we spilled a little sun hemp on the floor, and there's some I can see popping up. I can see a lot of buckwheat here. There's rye and oats right there. So that's popping. We've had 2 really good rains right off the bat, right after planting, and it's germinating. It's doing really well. You know, I want to. I saw an article by one of the big buck seed companies saying you got to have seed coating and blah 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 blah. The only thing you need, folks, right there, clouds and rain. That's what you need. You don't need seed coating. And again, I can't stress this enough. Coated seed is cheaper than non-coated seed, and there is not any coated seed in here. Okay, and then you can see all the crimson clover that's germinating. All non-coated seed. So this is going to be our summer soil builder with crimson clover for an added nitrogen component, and then we're going to lightly disc this in or till this in probably mid-August and put our fall forage red clover and radish combination here. So you see our coyote decoys did a good job of keeping the pigeons out of here. Wind knocked that one down. We just unbelievable wind this spring. But yeah, so this is our summer soil builder with crimson clover. It's going to be great deer food in about the next 2 weeks. You can see our red clover over here is doing really well. Clover blend plus chicory down there is doing really well. So we never really stripped the plate clean. There was always food in this food plot. See our cereal greens popping up really good here. Should be a sea of green here in the next 8 to 10 days. So we've got a real nice start to our 2024 food plot planning with our first seed hitting the ground. You know, again, we're creating an environment to where we're building organic matter with those multi-species plants, that great diverse root system. We're adding organic nitrogen with the crimson clover. It's also going to be summer food for the deer. I'm expecting this to get 3 to 4 feet tall. The thing is, we've had some good rain here, but we've not had a lot of heat yet. We had, I think today it was 80 degrees here, but it's been hovering right in that low 60s. You know, we're ready to put our HD screen in, but the soil temperature isn't ready, and obviously the nighttime temperatures aren't ready. I know across the pond over in lower Michigan, they had some frost yet. So, man, it's been a crazy spring. But anyway, you know, one of the things I want to emphasize again, and I talked about this while we were out there, is this coated seed theory. You know, and I saw an article, you know, the big seed company, big buck seed company, talking about how much coated seed is so much better. Well, of course they're going to say it's better. It's cheaper, okay? I'm not making that up. This is a seed catalog from one of the biggest seed distributors in the country trying to get business from us, and the cheapest seeds are coated seeds. I'm not making that up, okay? And we do not sell coated seeds here, but here's the thing. That crimson clover sat on that ground for 2 days. We got one rain, and I walked out there, and it was cracked and starting to throw a root. And it's been in the ground, I believe, for 9 days, and it's got big, healthy leaves already for only being down 9 days. There's no seed coating on anything that we put down, okay? And like I said, you don't need seed coating. You need rain. You need a good seed bed, and you need rain. Now we need some heat. Seed coating's got nothing to do with it except making their profits bigger. That's not what we do here at Northwoods Whitetails. So thanks for watching, folks. I hope this helps. Summer soil builders, man, I don't like to spray all year or disc and till and all that. trying to get rid of the weeds. I'd rather you plant something right now as a weed suppressor, organic matter builder, move those numbers up, get some organic nitrogen in the ground. You're going to have a much better food plot this fall. Thanks for watching, folks. If you got any questions, by all means, ask them in the comments below. Don't forget our podcast, Field of Greens podcast from Northwoods Whitetails. Thanks for watching. Thanks for helping the company grow. Thanks for helping our channels grow. We'll see you in a few days.